Living in Nigeria is not just expensive. It is emotionally expensive. Everyone talks about rent, fuel, food, inflation. But nobody talks about the hidden cost, the cost that does not show on receipts. Today, let us talk about the price Nigerians pay every day just to survive. In many countries, you plan your life. You set goals. You make a budget. You follow a path. In Nigeria, you prepare for problems. You wake up not just to a new day, but to a new set of challenges you didn't ask for. The power is gone the moment your alarm rings. So the first thing you hear is the roar of a generator. The air fills with fumes before you've even had a sip of water. This is your morning soundtrack. You get ready for work. You turn on the tap, but nothing comes out. The water corporation has decided today is not your day. So you go to the backup tank, hoping there's enough left. You step outside. The road that was manageable yesterday is now a gridlock of cars, bikes, and keeks. A pothole that was a small nuisance has grown into a crater overnight after last night's rain. A 30-minute commute becomes a 2-hour journey. You try to make a quick bank transfer on your phone. Network unavailable. You try to call a client. The call won't connect. You try again. It drops halfway through the conversation. This isn't a bad day. This is just a Tuesday. Every single day comes with a built-in layer of stress. And this stress is not free. It's a tax you pay with your well-being. It drains your physical energy, leaving you exhausted before your workday has even truly begun. It drains your mental energy, forcing you to solve problems that shouldn't exist in the first place. It slowly chips away at your health, raising your blood pressure, giving you headaches, and filling you with a constant, low-level anxiety. It steals your peace of mind, replacing it with frustration and a feeling of being constantly embattled. This is the first hidden cost, the daily stress tax. It's a debt that compounds every morning, and it's a price that is far too high. In Nigeria, you don't just pay for things once. You pay twice for everything, sometimes 3 or 4 times. You pay the government for public electricity through your monthly bills. Then you pay again for a generator because that public electricity is a myth. You pay again for the fuel to run that generator. You pay again for the mechanic to service the generator when it inevitably breaks down from overuse. One service, 4 payments. You pay taxes that are meant to fund public water systems. Then you pay a huge sum to drill a borehole in your compound. You pay again for a pumping machine to get the water out. You pay again for a water treatment system because the borehole water might not be safe to drink. Another basic utility, another set of personal expenses. You pay for a police force that is supposed to provide security. Then you pay for private security guards to watch your gate. You pay for high fences, barbed wire, and metal doors. You pay for estate levies that cover vigilante groups who patrol the streets at night. Safety, which should be a right, becomes a luxury you have to fund yourself. Your children need an education. The public schools, which your taxes should support, are often underfunded, overcrowded, and neglected. So you pay for private school, with fees that can rival a university education. You pay for textbooks, for uniforms, for extra lessons, because even private schools can't always cover the curriculum gaps. You fall ill. The public hospitals, meant to be a safety net for all citizens, are overwhelmed and under-equipped. You might wait for hours just to see a doctor. So you go to a private hospital, where the bill can wipe out your savings in a single visit. You pay for the consultation, you pay for the lab tests, and you pay inflated prices for medication. Things that are considered basic, fundamental services in other parts of the world become a long list of personal responsibilities here. It's a parallel government that you, the individual, have to run and finance. You are the minister of power for your own home. You are the water corporation chairman for your family. You are the commissioner of police for your own street. This silent spending, this constant duplication of costs, slowly and systematically empties your pockets. It is a financial drain that doesn't appear on any official inflation report but is felt deeply in every household budget. Time is money. It's a universal truth. But in Nigeria, time is constantly stolen, wasted, and devalued. You can spend hours in traffic, watching your life tick by, trapped in a car or a bus. A journey that should take 15 minutes can stretch into an hour, or 2, or even 3. The city's arteries are clogged, and every day, you are a part of that standstill. You need to go to the bank. You prepare yourself mentally for the long queues. A queue to get a tally number. A queue to see the cashier. A a queue for customer service. A simple transaction becomes a half-day excursion. You need to renew a government document, a driver's license, a passport, a business permit. The system is down. The official in charge is not on seat. A file is missing. You are told to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, and it's the same story. Days turn into weeks. Everywhere you turn, there are delays. A flight is delayed for hours with no explanation. A delivery that was promised for noon arrives at dusk. A meeting scheduled for 10 a.m. starts at 11:30 a.m. because Lagos traffic. This has become so normal that we factor it in. We call it African time, a sad rebranding of systemic inefficiency. That lost time is not just an inconvenience. It's a tangible loss. That is time you could have used to learn a new skill, to take an online course, to read a book. That is time you could have used to work more, to generate more income, to build your business, to make those extra calls, to finish that project. That is time you could have used to rest, to recharge, to be with your family, to play with your children, to have a conversation with your spouse, to simply sit in silence and breathe. But that time disappears every single day, lost in a void of traffic, queues, and system failures. It is a priceless resource that is being squandered, and we are all paying the price for it. In Nigeria, stability is a rare and precious commodity. It is a luxury that few can afford. You live with a constant, underlying sense of uncertainty that colors every plan, every decision, every hope for the future. You make a budget for the month. You plan your expenses carefully. And overnight, the government announces a new policy. The price of fuel doubles. The exchange rate plummets. Suddenly, your carefully crafted budget is worthless. Your savings are devalued. Your purchasing power is cut in half. And you have to start all over again. You plan a trip, a small vacation to de-stress. You book your tickets. And a week before you travel, reports of kidnapping surface on that route. The security situation deteriorates. Your plan for rest becomes a source of anxiety. Is it safe to go? Is it worth the risk? The uncertainty paralyzes you. You start a small business. You pour your life savings into it. You navigate the complex regulations. You finally start to see a small profit. Then, a sudden import ban is placed on a key raw material you need. Or the local council introduces a new, ridiculous set of levies and taxes. Your business, your dream, is suddenly hanging by a thread. This constant state of flux is emotionally exhausting. It is the feeling of walking on a floor that is constantly shifting beneath your feet. How can you build for the long term when the rules can change at any moment? How can you invest in the future when you can't even be certain about next week? This is the emotional cost of uncertainty. It fosters a culture of short-term thinking, because long-term planning feels like a fool's errand. It replaces hope with cynicism. It forces you to live in a defensive crouch, always bracing for the next blow, the next policy shift, the next price hike, the next crisis. It drains your spirit and makes it difficult to dream. This is the ultimate hidden cost of living in Nigeria. It is the weight of a nation's instability resting on the shoulders of its people. We are resilient. We are strong. We are survivors. But the question we must ask is, at what cost?